So here's a story from our business adventure in mid of my life. We started a business which started to do extremely well. The business took on and eventually we went public. When we took the company public, it was not a very large company, but it was doing extremely well. By going public, we started to bring in a lot of financing, a lot of money, a lot of shareholders were coming in. And resulting, we were growing very fast. We started in North America, and from North America, we moved on to Europe, acquiring companies. And from there, we were looking at the companies in Australia. We opened an office in Hong Kong to be close to China, and on and on. Things were just going well. We were just, in less than 3-4 years, we took our company from $50 million to $250 million. An immense growth, wonderful growth, and things were just going well. We were making deals, we were gobbling up companies, we were buying companies, putting them together, and the celebration was on all the time. The champagne was clinking, and we were basically, everybody was happy. Our shareholders were happy. We were doing great. Our market cap was growing, and our company's profits were unbelievable. So we were doing great. But there was one thing that we missed out on. As we were celebrating our growth, and as we were celebrating all the companies that we were buying, what we missed was that the core values that we had set up originally in our head office, in our place, we were starting to default on them. And the reason we were defaulting on them is because we were not measuring our core values anymore. We're not measuring our operations according to our core values. And we were just not going accordingly. So what happens is when you start to fall on your own core values, this is when the business becomes extremely difficult. Now, we were very lucky at that time in the sense that we were at that point ready to sell the company, so the company got sold. But had we continued, we were starting to see cracks in our own foundation. And that is the subject of our today's discussion, as to how to define core values. How to define core values, or to begin with, what is core values, and how do we work on this pyramid? Our pyramid it's something that comes from top going into the bottom, being very, very strong at the base. Now, in this base, what we see is, I would define it by three lines which are here. What we'll have is one, this is your base, this is your middle, and that's the pinnacle. Now, the base should always be our core values. What is that we believe in? What are our deep convictions? What are our deepest convictions? What is that we believe in, and how we are going to conduct our business? What is that has come up with our own upbringing? What have we done in our life? What have we been taught? What are the societal norms? Those create our core values. And of course, we'll get back to it later on and discuss as to how do we define our own core values, or how do we find our core values. But this is your core values. Now, it takes the biggest part of the pyramid. It's at the bottom. It sits at the bottom, and it is that strong. As long as those core values are in place and are defined and are being observed, then you know that your foundation is extremely strong. And that what we need when we do our pyramid. So we have our foundation. There should be no cracks in that foundation. That foundation should be strong, and everything that we build on it, so it can sustain everything that goes up. And the next thing is our beliefs and standards. So we have our beliefs and our standards, which is really what we do in our real life. Right? It's the quality over quantity. This is what I believe in, that I need to do quality over quantity. We believe I want to live a very healthy life. So I eat healthy food and I do exercise. These are our beliefs, and these are the standards that we set for ourselves. The same way we set the standard for our company, for our corporation, or even for our own family life. So you have your core values, which is the biggest, which is the largest part of this pyramid. Then what you have is the beliefs and standards, which is the second part. And that, in turn, will give you the results. So it could be your sales or your legacy in whatever that you are looking for. So if we look at the pyramid, it starts from a foundation, which is core values, and then from there we're going on the top. We're going on the top to our beliefs and standards. Once these two are in place, and once we have worked hard on those, then your top of the pyramid is always going to be great, and it'll continue to give you what you are looking for, because that is set on a strong foundation. The strong foundation sets the tone for your company to grow. And as long as you're following that, and as long as you are doing it, you know that your top line is always going to be great, and you know that your business is going to be good. So you have to have that conviction that you are going to run your business with core values, and not only run it, but consistently and constantly look at it, reevaluate it, and then the results are there for you. So the core values are, in my opinion, and in opinion of many other people who've been in business, we saw it once we stopped following the core values. Once we saw that there were cracks in our core values, it started the cracks in our business. So now, how do you build your own core value? How do you do this? Here's the 5 items that I have. These are quick tips. This is not a guideline. This is a tip, because core values are really something that come deep from your own stuff. As to what was your own life? What are your own convictions? But here's a quick 5 tips that can perhaps help you bring in what your core values are going to be. So the first one is, you go back and you look at your own life experience. And we all do have experiences that from a time where if we broke something and we stood up and we said, you know what, I did this, I broke this plate. And we felt good about it because we felt that telling the honest truth really set us free. So whatever the experiences are, if you go back and look at your life experiences and see, reflecting on your own life, and see what What are the second item would be, what are the few items? What are the 5, 7 that you picked up and you said, you know what, those are the good moments of my life. This is when I was really proud. This is when I really felt good because I did good. So once you've picked up those 5 or 7, the third step is really brainstorm them. Go through them one by one and see, what did you do? What were the results? How did you feel when you did this? Once you start doing that, to that 5 or 7 you write, then at the fourth one is you start choosing one. Now don't look at any fluff. You know, one of the things that I'll say is that most of the corporations, it is the slogans. But you can't live by slogans, because slogans are good and they're very, very good on your website, but the slogans do not go very far. So don't look for slogans. Look for your own inner as to what is it that makes you happy. What is it that are non-negotiable items for you? Is it quality or quantity? What is that you want to do? Would you hire an excellent salesperson? Would you hire the most excellent salesperson, but you know that the person has no integrity? Would you want to do that? Would you do a deal that is very lucrative to you today, but perhaps that deal does not sound correct to you? You know that you may have to sacrifice some of your principles. So this is when you start picking and deciding as to what you're going to do. Which core values are you going to keep with you? Once you have done that, then define them. And as you define them, you start to align them with your own pyramid. With your own pyramid, which says, these are my core values. And from those core values, you start to go on to the next. And then what you have is a business that stays on a very solid ground, stays on certain rules, certain principles that you created, and you say, you know what, these are the principles that I am going to make my life with, that I am going to run my business with. And once you put them in action, they give you so much, because that's what it is. It's over and above your business plan, over and above all the other stuff that you're doing to run your business. There has to be the core values that come from deep down. We had those core values. Those core values helped us in this particular business that I talked about grow to a certain point, but then we forgot to look back. And that's when we start seeing the cracks in the foundation. So the core values, when I talk about the pinnacle of the pyramid, it is not necessarily the business. This could be your own personal life. It could be your family life. It's the way you want to guide your life. So you have your core values, which then on top of it sits your beliefs, your own standards, and on the top, what you are going to see is creating the legacy. Either you create that legacy by having the most wonderful business, the greatest of the family, the love that you're looking for, everything that will leave your legacy. And that's what you have to look at. So I wanted to talk about the core values. For last 29 episodes, we've been talking about motivation. We're talking about self. How do we improve ourselves? And being and how to inspire ourselves. I want to start going up towards now to things like core values, and then from there we'll jump into much more stuff as to how to create your own business, how to get the financing, and on and on and on. And I just hope that you will follow my journey, because I have lived it. It's been a great experience for me. And I do this because I hope, it is my wish, that somebody takes this and follows it and do well in their life. So if you know of somebody who needs to know this, please send it to them. Please subscribe to my channel so I feel good about it, and so I can continue to bring you all this stuff, all the good stuff that I think has been in my life that I have done. And till next time, this is Aslam Khatri saying goodbye. I'll see you soon.